Welcome back, everybody. As we all know, it's the big day for the ANC as today the party marks its 113th birthday anniversary, having celebrated it on the January 8th and leading to what is traditionally known as the January 8th statement. So we've compiled some facts about the history and the establishment of the ANC. Let's take a look. The ANC was founded as the South African Native National Congress to advocate for black South Africans' rights. It was founded at a time when South Africa was changing very fast. Diamonds had been discovered in 1867 and gold in 1886, and mine bosses wanted, literally forced people to work for them, at the mines, and this led, of course, to the promulgation of such draconian laws as the Land Act of 1913, which prevented Africans from buying, renting, or using land except in the reserves. And the ANC has been South Africa's governing party since 1994, backed by its tripartite alliance with COSATU, the SABC and SANCO, even though this particular tripartite alliance is now on shaky ground, with the South African Communist Party having announced that they will be doing it alone at the upcoming local government elections in 2026. And the ANC was clutching at straws, trying to beg the SACP not to go at it alone, because they'll basically be their enemy or their opponent in the polls. So it is an ongoing discussion between the ANC and as well as the SACP because of the ideological factors or issues that have led to the tension between the ANC and the South African Communist Party. So we're yet to see whether that would lead to some common ground between the ANC and its alliance partner. So in February 1990, the government lifted the ban on the ANC, freeing Nelson Mandela and other political prisoners, allowing the ANC to openly recruit and establish other regional structures. And I suppose this was a turning point for South Africa's democracy. In 1994, the country gained democracy, and it was reintroduced to international markets, and it was accepted openly by the international community as a result of that democratic shift. And just a fact box, as we've mentioned earlier on, the ANC was formed on the 8th of January 1912 in Bloemfontein, and the ANC defines itself today as a disciplined force of the left. Even though so many consternations have been made around whether the ANC is really advocating for people on the left, and there's different demographics and demographic groups that have been ostensibly sidelined by the ANC, including the black middle class, which feel incredibly isolated by the African National Congress. So it really is a point of discussion whether it still is a force of the left. And when it was established in 1912, various kings and traditional leaders from Southern Africa played a key role in the ANC's establishment. And when it was established back in 1912 again, various kings and traditional leaders from Southern Africa played a key role in the ANC's establishment, which underscores the level of support that the party have had, not only in Southern Africa, but internationally as well. So let's now take a look at how the ANC's Women's League was established in 1943. Well, when it was formed in 1912, it did not allow women to participate as members. And in 1918, the government threatened to reintroduce the past laws for women, as these have been relaxed after the success of earlier resistance to passes. And in the light of these events, the Bantu Women's League was then formed in 1918 under the leadership of Charlotte Maxeke, and they continued to fight against apartheid. They continue their passive resistance against the government of the day. And the ANC only accepted women as members of the Congress in 1943, and that was the introduction and the formation of the ANC's Women's League. And the ANC, of course, was established on the 2nd of April in 1994 by Anton Lembede, who was the league's first president, followed by Nelson Mandela, Oliver Tambo, Walter Sisulu, and leaders like Aida Mtwa, Lillian Ngoyi, James Njongweni, William Komo, and Dane Klume. The aim of the Youth League really was to galvanize the youth to step up the fight against apartheid, to step up the fight against passive resistance against the apartheid regime and the government of the day. And ANC and the other organizations were eventually banned in 1960, and the ANC then took up arms against the apartheid South African government in 1961 with the creation of Umkhonto weSizwe, which aptly means the spear of the nation. When it was formed, it sort of advocated for a peaceful war or a peaceful struggle against apartheid. But then it was forced to take up arms and decided to send its comrades or its leaders in different parts of Africa to galvanize its support and galvanize the international community to join their struggle against apartheid. So that was how the Umkhonto weSizwe Party was formed back in 1960. Now, the ANC today is still the ruling party, even though there's been so many consternations with regards to whether the ANC is still fighting for the masses and whether it still represents the interest of the people. And it's been embroiled in so many issues like corruption and service delivery or the lack thereof. And at the historic Morogoro conference in Tanzania, the ANC membership was open to all race groups for the first time. And as I've mentioned earlier on, the ANC Youth League was established in 1944 and the ANC's Veteran League was established in 2009. And it served the ANC and the movement over an unbroken period of 40 years. It operated on a national, provincial and branch basis. And its objectives really are to ensure that veterans make a full and rich contribution to the work of the ANC, the movement and the life of the nation. And since its establishment, the ANC in 1912, there have been four main splinter parties from the ANC: the PAC, which was formed in 1959, the UDM in 1997, the COPE in 2008, and the EFF in 2013. And the ANC today remains Africa's oldest liberation movement. So this is just an infographic just to share the history of the African National Congress as it celebrates 113 years of formation. And the celebration will be held in Khayelitsha. We'll be crossing to our reporters at the Nelson Mandela Park in Khayelitsha in Cape Town.